Hello and welcome back to the No Excuses podcast. My name is Anne and I live in the middle of Worcestershire with my husband Tom. Today is Monday the 11th of August and this is episode 104. How are you? We're going to have hot weather again this week and hence I'm wearing my muumuu. Well, I call it a muumuu. I think it's an American sort of caftan style thing. I got it off the market in Hereford a few years ago, but it's great for this weather to sort of just pop on. And mine is so long, if I'm careful, I could go around the pub in it and not put trousers on, which again is another layer of clothing to not want when you're hot. And it covers the whole of my legs. My legs are that short. So yes, and yeah, it's blue. I know, I keep saying that blue doesn't suit me. Certain shades of blue suit me. Royal blue wouldn't suit me. And I'm not sure a French navy would either. Air Force might be okay. Anyway, so that's what I'm wearing today. It's not knitted. As if I'd wear something knitted today. What we've got to talk about today, I shall get my trusty podcast journal out, and I've set up for August there with my stickers that I got out of a book on Amazon. Yet again, it's one that Kaz ordered, I think, and it was sort of Victoria on a steampunk type vibe. And I gave a lot of them to the charity shop because I didn't like them, and I kept a few back for me. I took the whole book apart because it was quite thick, about 20 quid I think. It's quite thick, no, 14 pounds, quite thick, and it had loads and loads and loads, hundreds, I think it said 1,000 on the book of stickers in it, and they're all right actually. I mean, they're good quality. I've got one on here that keeps popping up on one edge, but that's the first I've ever seen anything like that. And that might just be me and my sticky fingers putting it on. If you watch anybody on a video and they're putting like delicate stickers on, they have these fine tweezers and they pop it on. I've tried that. Nah, too khaki-handed. They don't end up where I want them anyway, so, and they're always wonky. Perhaps I should just put my middle name as Wonky. Anyway, today we have got the winners from three winners today. Can't even. Three. We've got the 800 subs to get your kit off and July's draw. But I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to make you wait to the end. Or if you don't watch me, you can go straight to the end and see who they are. They could be you. Let's stop being silly, shall we? Let's talk about something serious. Let's talk about knitting. Let's talk about the only thing I've been working on. And it is I forgot to put this in here with me. Tom's just shut me in to the back room. And I had to shout to him and say, can you give me the knitting by the armchair where I sit at night? This is my Glowhair Foster shawl. Make sure I've got the right side facing you. Not that you'd be able to maybe see it from this distance, but there you go. I showed you this last time. And then as soon as we got to here, the top end of, no, sorry. And as soon as we got to here, I started doing my own thing because I didn't want to do the chevrons. And like it is quite often with my stuff, it didn't work. Now, I love all the colours in here and they all go together well because I've said before that all Attic Spin dye, the main sock colours are. So we start out with deep purple speckle, and then we go on to deep rose, and then this is Chatsworth Chintz. So those are the ones on their own. And then we've got I haven't got the little balls with me today. They're in the lounge. But this is quite busy. although you can see the pattern quite obviously when you're looking at it closer to. And when I decided to do my own thing, I thought, right, I'm going to do a rib. I've already made this panel bigger than it is by about 10 rows on the pattern, just by varying what I was doing. I won't go into it because it's part of the pattern anyway, but quite an easy adjustment. But what I started doing first was I was doing a 3x1 rib, or 3x1 stitch pattern, cabling it, but I was carrying the Chatsworth chintz with the palest of the mohairs, which is like a off-white, and it just made it look mucky with the patterning in this and the off-white colour. So, and then I did the medium pink, and I did a bit more, as you do. And then after about, say, 10 rows, which I've put back into this pattern now, I decided it wasn't working for me, so I undid them meticulously, stitch by stitch. And we've got about 400 on. And then I thought, right, I'm going to mirror what's on there, more or less. Well, I haven't. I've got some garter rows there with the middle colour, the deep rose. Probably blowing out a bit. I haven't got any of my supplementary lights on today because I figured it was quite bright anyway. And that's the darker of the mohair, and that's coming out far darker than it is in real life. Nice colour though, isn't it? It clashes nicely with my skin tone. How to choose the colours. I've done garter for about 3 rows, and then I've done eyelets for 2. You can see the holes there. I've peeled backwards now on the return row, and I don't know whether to do another row of eyelets just so it shows up and then change colour. And I think I might do that. So do another 2 rows of eyelets with the mohair, and then switch back to using this one with the mid colour of the mohair and do the same again. So I'm making it up. Because, as somebody rightfully said to me on the in the comments, that because I hadn't read the pattern forward, I just decided I didn't like the chevrons to everything else. And of course that's a wrong decision, because as you pointed out to me, it looks really delicate with just mohair, and there are some rows of just mohair in the pattern near the chevrons now, or in the chevrons. But I'd already decided sort of that I was going to do mohair only rows, like I'd done, like the pattern did just there before the first lace section. But I'm still enjoying it. It's quite difficult to get a row done in less than 20 minutes because of you shunting all the stitches along the needle all the time, and it's on my lap. Now this is I don't know what I was going to say. I'm using my Chigu cable, which is probably the slipperiest one I've got, and luckily for me it hasn't fallen off the end yet. I sewn the ends in, so I had to undo a couple of ends that involved mohair, but luckily I'd stopped. I didn't have to undo too much of them once I'd got past that little bit that I'd decided to do myself. So yeah, I might look at another stitch pattern. I'll get my stitch library out. Sorry, disappearing off the edge of the screen, to see if there's another stitch pattern I can add into here, or just do stripes or different sort of chevrons. I don't know, I'll have a look. So that's the progress. And really, it took me, I'm not knitting all the time because it can hurt my arm. So it probably took me 4 days of knitting to do those rows, or to decide what I was going to do those rows, and then about 2 days to undo it all. And there we are now. So I'm doing that at night now. I'm trying to do other things during the day. So I've got no finishes. That may or may not be finished the next time I see you. I don't know how many rows. I need to check the pattern, the real pattern. see if I can take any other patterns off it, stitch patterns off it, excluding the chevrons, and then decide on my border. So yeah, I'm still pleased with it. It's coming along nicely, and people aren't going to know unless they've done that shawl whether it adheres to the pattern or not anyway. And it's my shawl, so it will be unique. So because we haven't got anything else really, well, I think I'll talk about me journaling just for a couple of minutes in a sec. Just 5 minutes on me, what I've been doing with the journal thing. I have always loved stationery since I was a kid, when there wasn't really much around for children and adults that like stationery. Now I'm okay with my podcast journal because I know what I'm doing now. I do a 2-page spread, write down what I want to mention, and then because of pens and things, although this one is a Leuchtturm, it's a fairly thick paper, I infill the next 2 pages with pretty stickers. I can't remember where I got the stickers from. I need to ask me where from, and I think they're from Notebook Therapy, or I don't think they're on Amazon. I'll have to have a look. And that's working for me now. It's what I've been doing for a little while, and it also uses the book up a little bit quicker. But if I end up writing with a pen that goes through, which isn't very often with the Leuchtturm, then it doesn't show through. And to be honest, I need a way of getting through my notebooks. Oh, I knocked you then, sorry. Did you jolt? Oh. I've had this book now for several years. It's a project book, and at the side you can see it's got tabs, and I've added one of my own there right to the beginning. I bought some tabs off Stationery Geek, I think it was, and put that one down, getting my books mixed up. What I had a green, I've still got a green book that had bits and bobs in it, different things I'd collected to do with sewing, knitting stitch patterns that I liked, pictures of some of my bags, which I'm not going to do anymore. I might cut them out and put them in a book. I've got them recorded in my photos. And then I'd listed my sewing patterns that I had, and I thought, this is silly, you know, it's such a mumbo jumbo that I don't want to carry on doing this. And last year I'd started a journal with every month I'd say what I've got commitments wise. I'd do a diary grid, and I had tried to record my health on it, particularly my pain levels, but that didn't really work, versus the weather as well, to see how much correlation there was. I know there's correlation, so, and I thought, this isn't working for me. There's 2 separate folders there, the journal from last year and my green book that was adding bits of bobs to, that I thought would be useful as a reference book. Anyway, I've joined them up, sort of. So in here, on my first page, in the first section of this 5, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, yes, 5-part project book, I think I might have got this from W.H. Smith, to be honest. I don't think it was the Works or anywhere like that. It's quite good quality paper, but it doesn't say where it's from. And I've written my notes that I made last year in the journal that I didn't keep up for ever. In fact, I went to, oh no, let's see where I went up to. October, November. Oh no, I did it all year. Crikey. But I hadn't, once I'd set the month up, I didn't necessarily go back and do anything last couple of months. So I've transferred those notes into here. I've just written roughly what I've done and everything. Very, very scant notes that I took from there. And at the back I wrote our expenditure, because I'd kept a note of that. our supermarket expenditure for the year. I wrote all that up just out of interest. I might do it again next year. I can't find it now, but oh yeah, I just made a list of each month. I didn't do it individually by supermarket like I had broken it down in the original document. Oh yeah, I have copied it all out. You see, when I do things, I like to do them precisely. I can't cut corners sometimes. I can be a bit too focused. January, February. Oh, I've got January and February, and that's it. Maybe I meant to go and write the rest of them up. I might have thrown them away. I might just pull that page out. And then I found another book that I was keeping in 2019. I'd started another diary, and because that was pre-plague, and I'd written it all up into the green book or the journal from last year. So I copied all that out again, and that was January to hold on, I think it was July. So 7 months worth, and it actually filled the whole section for that, the whole thing. And I got that close to writing on the bottom, look, the last day of July. And then I've made a list now of the pod prizes that I've sent out over the years, and I want to be more rigid in how I record the advents and things, because every year I say I'm going to stop doing it, but then I think I enjoy it so much, why not do what you enjoy? And also I did bags last year only, but the thing about adding the minis is when I've got enough of them, because I've been doing other things, I've broken into hundreds skeins, and I might have only used half of them, so you know, I might as well make them into minis, if you get me meaning. It's getting cold. So yeah, I've written all those down from March 2021 to the current day. I know I've missed a couple, because that's, I mean, I haven't got any record of the jump along this year. Did any of you win it? Can you tell me if you did? Can you tell me? Oh no, I know. See, talking about it makes it jump into your head. And she'd submitted a couple, at least 2 items. I'll go back into my YouTube and have a look and put it in here. So, if you win today, you'll end up in this little book. Now, I've got 2 more sections then to use up and put in here. I haven't included many stickers and things in because I've needed space in here for what I'm writing about. So, that's what I'm going to do at the moment. And I saw something on Oops a Daisy. I follow her on Instagram. I used to subscribe to her emails. I stopped that because quite a few, and she does great journal kits and things. And she would talk about commonplace journaling, and I don't know much about it, but if you're somebody that wants to get into journaling or stationery, and you've got lots of stationery, basically it's just taking what you heard or quote you've seen, something appealed to you that's nice, and you just write it down. Which is sort of what I got in my head at journaling, not journaling, or recording. It's more like a recording. So it's called Commonplace, and I don't know where the name comes from, but I am going to watch some videos about it. I think she's done one herself, so and I'm sure there are going to be other ones on the tube. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing with my books at the moment. I'm not writing all that out again. I'll tell you what I did find, and I found it quite upsetting really, to be honest, that in 2019 I could get up, have a shower and go out. And I could go out the next day as well, and possibly the day after that. And I would say I was tired or I was aching, but not to the level I am these days. So to see how quickly I progressed over 6 years. I mean, you know, it's an indictment of aging, isn't it, really? I was reading the leaflet they put in with drugs. I've been given a new drug. I'll talk about it in a minute. And I was reading the contraindications. I don't normally bother. I noticed there was a section, and it said, for the elderly, in bracket 65 and over. I'm 65 in November. Ginny's already 65, aren't you, Ginny? Do you feel elderly? Sal's going to come up just after me, 65. Do you feel elderly, Sal? What a stupid thing to do. When you think that people are getting healthier, I don't know. Right, what are we doing now? Shall I get the right book out? Let me find the book. I think it's incoming. And I haven't bought any wool. I know you're disappointed. It's like Anita said, your no-buy year is going so well. And, you know, you can read things when they're written down. You can read them how you want to. And I read it with no hint of sarcasm or tomfoolery at all. Oh dear. Right. First thing to show you is the buttons I couldn't find last time. And they were just there at the end of I'd put them in a container. And these are the buttons that I've chosen to go on my yellow dory cardigan, which has got flecks similar to that colour in there. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 6 hearts, ceramic, and a smaller one in the middle. That will be perfect for my jacket. And it's Zoe Makes Buttons, and she's on Etsy. I will put the link down in my notes. She's also on other social media, Instagram, yeah, as well. So I think they're very pretty. They're heavier than your plastic ones, but I'm not going to be, you know, I only hand wash. If that, I give it a quick 10-minute soak and then squeeze it, and it goes out on the airer. And I only wash it about every 2 years, but I do like it. And because it's felted tweed, it performs very well. Craft House Magic. This year, I keep saying year. I know the year's going fast, but it isn't going by every fortnight. Even I know that, with all my moaning. So wrapped up in this lovely turquoise paper are their Christmas fabrics this time from Ellie. And that's what I've got. You get a little handmade with a knitting, ball of knitting on these faux leather labels. I've got all of these, which are the same Liberty pattern. I don't know what it's called. Wiltshire or something. Oh, probably look it up. All different shades of the same pattern. And then we've got, I'll show you these. She did write to the subs for the fabric saying, if you don't want Christmas, I can substitute the very Christmassy ones with other that are either red or green anyway from Liberty. So we've got this very pretty houses. Pink. Crispy prezzies. Red. That's gorgeous, isn't it? Green. A bit emeraldy for me, but they're nice and they all sit together very well. And they're all Liberty, so they feel gorgeous. I need to start making something out of my Liberty. I know I say it every time. What's the point of buying things if you're not going to do anything with it? Well, it's because we like to build a stash. Of anything, stash. Just goes without saying if you're a crafter. So those are my incoming for this month. Well, yeah, the buttons came last month, but you get the meaning. I want to say a big thank you to the people who bought the Hambleton yarn from me. I had a couple of people interested, but somebody got there very, very quickly. And the DK, cotton that I had mixed, that was I'd initially bought for animals. The 4-ply is still available, so if you want to know what that looks like, have a look at last fortnight's number 103. I show you the 4-ply yarn, cotton yarn, or cotton mix that I bought, mainly Katona, I think, Shepsy Katona. Yeah, and then we're on to activity. So not a lot of knitting content this time. But is that a bad thing sometimes off me? Well, I've been going 26 minutes because it can't be all bad. I've been yattering about something. I've just made 2 more baskets, and one of them will be wending their way to North England in a short while. I've sent her a photograph of both, asking which one the lady would prefer, because they've got different linings, because they fillings then. Maybe I need something to eat. I'm trying to use my foam up. I'm going to show it you. This is the Bosal foam that I love, and I bought, if you have a look at it, it's got like a thickness to it. See? Now I thought this was glued on one side, but I can't for the life of me. I tried with a piece of scrap paper fabric, but it didn't stick to either side. So this is a bit creased in the middle, but that doesn't matter. It's not going to make a difference to the overall. Once you've sewn it up, quilted it, it'll have a lot more creases in it from being quilted. Now I love this stuff. It feels gorgeous. And Tom's cut me out 6 or 8 squares, and they're bigger than what I was using for my yarn baskets, which I'd cut from some fat quarters of Tilda Hibernation, and I'll just show you the difference in size. So that's what I was using, that brown material is what I was using, and then this one's about a third again, and I don't know what to do with that. Now I've looked at Ellie from Craft Has Magic's new basket tutorial, but I think that I don't think that would suit what I want to do. I'm thinking of a similar yarn basket, but just make it so it's deeper, so it'll be a similar height to the ones that I've already done, but it'll be deeper, and I could even put handles on of some sort. I don't want to do drawstring because this doesn't scrunch. I mean, it flattens nicely, but it doesn't scrunch like where you've got the top of a drawstring. So I'm going to be working on them gradually. I have to be careful when I knit all, so you know. But the other thing I wanted to do is that thing where you get strips. I've got all these leftovers from the making of the bags. So I've got all these bits and pieces left over, and I've got other bits as well. And I'm thinking I could turn them into 2.5-inch strips or something similar, or just variable strips, it doesn't matter, does it really? And sew them directly onto the wadding, and then put a backing on it, and make it into a yarn bowl like that, really. So yes, if you fancy a yarn bowl, some will be coming, but I don't want to take any orders for them until I've decided what I'm doing with them overall, because I don't, although I'm good at, it's better when I'm under pressure to do something. I do want to get the advents out, so we'll see. I could make one, I think, and then if somebody decides they'd rather have a yarn basket, if you've ordered an advent off me and you'd rather have a basket than a plimsoll style bag, then let me know, and I can probably do that for a couple of people, 3 or 4 people. I think I've got orders for 10 advents now, and I think that's about right for the fabric I've got and the yarn I've got. So yes, I'm looking forward to having a go at sewing fabric straight onto the wadding. I've seen it done so many times on the internet. It's a bit like quilt as you go in a way, isn't it? So I don't know if I'm good enough to sew in straight lines, but I've got to practice. Okay, but now I've sewn those, the two that I've just finished. I need to get on with my blouse. I'll show you the material next time. I should have started it. Mum wants me to, she's given me a mock-up of the sleeve, and she wants me to set it in to the body so that I can see whether it's going to be wide enough or it's too wide for me, because the sleeves are enormous, and although we have fat arms, we don't want even bigger sleeves. So, and that's because we cut out a bigger size for me, the other parts of my body that are larger. I haven't got skinny arms, but anyway, you'll see what I mean. So yeah, so we're on to activities, and then we'll do the winners of the prizes. I went on not long after speaking to you last time, a fortnight ago. We had a tenner afternoon. We met at the Cosy Club, the four of us. Denise didn't come this time, but that's okay. And we didn't play games. I thought we were going to be playing games, but we didn't play any games like we do at Christmas. We met at 12 and we partied at 6. About 5:30 we partied, and then Tom picked me up at 6. And that was nice. We chatted about everything, you know, under the sun. We had a laugh. When we got there, well, Jan always gets there first, and the man said she ordered a bottle of Pinot Grigio, white. And he came and he bought her 4 glasses, because she said she wanted a table before, which included a wheelchair. So fun. And she went, no. She said, I only want 1 glass. That bottle's for me. I'm not sharing it, you see. So off he toddled. And then Nikki came and she had a bottle as well. I was there a little bit later, and I got there, and he said, would you like a bottle of wine? I thought, no. No, thank you. That'd sink me. Anyway, I did have, I had a gorgeous spicy margarita, and it had half a giant chilli in it, which I sucked a little bit of after being soaking, and it was a bit tangy on the old tongue. Had coriander in it, and that gave it just a hint of something. It was really, really tasty. I had 2 of those, and I also had a strawberry margarita as well, and that was nice, but it wasn't as nice as the spicy one. And I had a large glass of wine. So that was 4 drinks I had. I mean, I don't rate cocktails as a drink to, you know, in terms of alcohol content. They're not really very strong, especially the ones I had this time, which were long, drowned in ice cubes. My friend Nikki, Nick drank cider and she had a cocktail, I think. And my friend Nikki had nearly the equivalent of 2 bottles of wine. I can't do that. We took her home, and you know, and she was very, very slightly slurring her words. I mean, I'd be flat out. But yeah, it's up to her, isn't it? I mean, she's not a regular drinker, so I don't know if she can do it. I had to eat fish fingers in a panko breadcrumb, and they were so hard. It looked like, it was more like a tempura batter in looks, but it was so firm I could barely eat it. I had to cut mine up. I'm not very good at eating big things with my hands. But it was all right. It was cod, so I was quite happy to have cod. I don't think I'd have them again. I didn't think they were value for money, and I don't mind paying over the odds when I'm eating out, but for what I got, I think I would have preferred the steak sandwich that I had last time. But I thought, no, I'm not having that again because it won't be as nice again. And then, of course, I had the apple tart. About 2 hours later, we decided we'd have some pudding. And the apple tart was delicious. It's very thinly sliced apples over a very crispy puff pastry base. Doesn't come up at the sides, very flat, with a caramel sauce on it. and they give you a blob of vanilla ice cream. I have to do the actions, I'm sorry. I can't really see my hands because I've got writing at the bottom of my camera, which you don't see, which I can see. And so I keep forgetting I'm flipping my hands about all the time. I'm sorry, I am sorry. And then that was on the Wednesday, and then on the Friday, oh no, yes, on the Friday, Tom took me and Liz and Elaine, well, we met Elaine there, to Merry Hill. Possibly one of the worst days of his life, I don't know, I don't ask him. But it wasn't pleasurable for him because we were talking. We didn't really talk that much amongst ourselves about the serious things that were going on that we might have done. I don't know, it's just, it doesn't matter who that extra person is, does it? It doesn't matter who they are. It can change the conversation. Anyway, full marks to Tom for putting up with us. I'm, impressed he did it. He said he'd do it a couple of times a year, but we really need to find a way to meet up together where Tom doesn't have to stay with us all day. There was nothing on at the cinema he fancied, so he just traipsed after us. He wasn't really. I think he did very, very well. He's not a shopper, and if you're not a shopper, then it's boring, isn't it? Mum came to tea on the Sunday because she's still convalescing, sort of, from her hip hop. Next Tuesday, she's hopefully gets her check-up, and she'll be allowed to drive again, and she'll be allowed to sleep on her side after 6 weeks. It's been a slow 6 weeks, I think, for her. She's not been able to get out very much, and she was quite poorly for the first couple of weeks, definitely. She's a lot weaker than she's used to being. Although if you'd walked down Snowdon a week before your operation, probably not ideal. Yes, Mum came for dinner. She ate all her dinner. Just gave her roast chicken, new potatoes and a couple of veg with real gravy, and no pudding, because we don't generally do pudding. Then on the week today, I went to the hospital about my boots. Worcester Royal, it's one of the outbuildings from the main building. Got out of the car, there were no parking spaces nearby. Tom hadn't got his phone, so he was going to sit and wait for me and move if he needed to. But I don't know whether he got moved on by the lad, but I went inside. Luckily Tom was still there. The lift was broke, so I phoned him up and I said, the lift's broken, how can I get to you? She said, there's another lift, go around the building, and and it started raining from when I got outside, and it absolutely chucked it down. I said to Tom, I went back to him in the car, I said, I'm going round the corner. I was in this chair with my boots in my hand. I found a place fairly easily, or I had to take my glasses off and wipe them because I couldn't see the board telling me where orthotics was when I got back into the back of the building. I was totally soaked. My trousers were soaked. I had not a very satisfactory talk with the orthotist. Basically, I want him to give me a pair of boots that I can wear at night, and then another pair of boots I can wear during the day. The boots I have on are 8 years old, and he says they're fine. I think they're okay, but I would like another pair to wear during the day. And he's saying, no, you're only allowed 2 pairs at once. So that discussion will continue. He's going to make me a pair now to replace the black ones I've ruined, and we'll go on from there. I can buy a pair. I want to try and avoid that if I can, because they'll be about, I think they'll be about 300 to 400 quid, or maybe more than that these days, since everything's gone up. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're really well made. They repair them for free, although it takes them about a month. And they're really good quality leather, and they're made for me, and they fit me, and they're comfortable to wear, except my feet keep playing up. But and then that was on the Monday. I got outside, Tom texted me to say I've been home, because we're only 10 minutes from the hospital. Got my phone, let me know when I can come and pick you up. I said, actually, I'm just ready. That worked out well in the end. On the Tuesday, I went to see the doctor. Now, I only go and see the doctor every 18 months, right? Yeah. And I said to her, because I do like my doctor, I said, everything's rotting. And she said, well, this is what happens. So I said, I need to talk to you about a lot of things, but I'm going to choose 2 things today. And she said, okay. So I had a brief discussion with her about my feet, because I'm getting a lot of pins and needles. And it's really, really painful. It's much worse when the weather's hot and I can feel my feet starting to fizz now. And she poked my feet and she said, well, you know, although they're a bit swollen from not walking, they're not too bad. So I'm going for a nerve conductivity test. I've got to book that. And she's given me amitriptyline to take at night, which apparently helps you sleep. I don't really have a sleep problem, which is I wake up every 2 hours and then I think I've got to go to the loo. That takes me half an hour. It does. Well, 20 minutes. And so I didn't take them the first night because I was scared of them once I got hold of them. Anyway, I'm taking them now and they're fine. But my feet are still really painful, and I'm a bit worried about them. And I don't really get worried about health issues. Yeah, so she's sending me for those tests. I'm not going to be a blood test for vitamin B12 deficiency, which will just mean a supplement. So yeah, and then I had my hair cut. You see, it's a bit shorter. Actually took about 2 inches off the back. It was getting too long for me to reach. Tom has to do the back anyway, so I'm quite happy with what she's done. And that's brought us up to date. I didn't do much over the weekend because I was sewing. I meant to podcast yesterday but didn't. I'm going to pop round to see my friend in a minute. Well, in a bit when she's back. It's her 60th birthday today. She lives just up the road from me. So I've got a little gift and a card to take to her. We've got Marks & Spencer's curry for tea. We don't often buy ready meals, but it's quite useful to have them in. And that's it really. Denise, my friend Denise, is coming tomorrow. I need to go through my t-shirt drawer to see if she wants any of my t-shirts that I've hardly worn. But she doesn't wear many t-shirts, so I don't know if she will. But anyway, I'm going to offer them up to her before I give them to charity. I might not get that done. I'll have to see. Anyway, so now, before I go, let's talk about the winners, shall we? I want to thank everybody who's taken part. Oh, and I must say, I might have mentioned this before, that I've just been through and hearted and read some of the comments that you've put going back to the end of June, beginning of July. July was not a good month for me with going away, having the bathroom done. Tom's mum and sister came. They were only here 1.5 days, didn't stay with us. But all this activity just knocked me sideways, and I now know I was absolutely shattered through all of July. And it doesn't help that it was so warm, you see. So I have read all your comments. I have replied to some of them, but I've not replied to the majority. So I do apologise, because I do like to respond in full to everybody that comments. And I shall start doing that from today. I think I've replied to most of them from the last comment, from the last episode a fortnight ago. So please don't think you're being ignored. I've just got behind. I've still got some YouTube podcasts to catch up on. I've got Ruth at Summerhill. I've got Barbara at Bondi Crafter or Quilter. If you change your name, Barbara, I can't remember who it is. I've watched Penny and I've watched Helen. So, and speaking of Helen, the winner of Get Your Kit Off is Helen Kettridge of Zoe Makes Pod. Now, I know that a lot of you follow Helen. And I saw she met up with Penny from Penelope's Gin Wag last month, or June, July. Anyway, Helen, congratulations. Your number was drawn from the kit off list, which wasn't huge, but a couple of people entered several times. Thank you very, very much. Saw some lovely kits. They're on Ravelry if you want to go and have a look, or Instagram under the NE Get Your Kit Off hashtag. And Helen submitted a Corinne Lapierre kit, mouse kit. Of course, mice. Helen does some lovely animals. She's done some gorgeous cats recently, and she's done some gorgeous quilt as you go as well to put in her camper van. And if you don't follow Helen, I highly recommend her, because she goes on these lovely camper van travels and she records them very, very well. She goes to like little museums and there's loads of history, and I love hearing about that sort of thing. I need to start, when she goes to places I want to go to, I need to start writing it down. So Helen, if you could let me have your address please by email, then I will put something in the post to you. It will be a kit. So thank you for everybody who took part in that. Now the second one is the July draw, and that was to say the word clematis back on pod number 102. And weirdly, full of coincidences, weirdly the random number generator chose Jane of Mouse Knits 2. Now Jane used to podcast, she doesn't podcast anymore, she is on Instagram, and Jane was the lady that sent me that gorgeous handmade little miniature journal, or what's the word, it is journal, isn't it, like junk journal in terms of using bits of paper up, that I showed you a couple of episodes, 2 or 3 episodes ago. So Jane, I shall be in touch and see what I could send you that you would like. I have a few options available, because I know Jane knits and she does other crafts obviously. And finally, the 800 subs, and thank you to everybody who's been with me since the beginning. There are quite a few of you, and the winner is Paula Burtonshaw. And Paula, if you would like to get in touch with me via spaknitsandcrafts, or DM me on Instagram, and we can sort out a gift for you too. So I want to say a big thank you to everybody who's listened, put up with me so far. I got just under 50 minutes, and I haven't got much to take out of this one. Waffled too much. I'm sort of letting you down really, aren't I? Yeah, I'm glad I'm at the other end of the fog. Looking forward to getting some results from my health tests. I'm a bit worried about my feet, I must say, because it's affecting me. You can see me wiggling, it's because I'm kicking my feet all the time because of the pins and needles. They're not with me every step of the day, but years and years ago I read that my condition, arthrogryposis, some people said they had to have their feet or their legs amputated, and it's always stayed with me. I don't want that to happen, because that would be, not good. Not in the physical state that I'm in the beginning, to start off with. I hope I haven't shared too much information with that chopping my feet off. It isn't going to happen. Right, I'll see you in about 2 weeks' time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Please let me know what you're doing. I always like to hear from you, because I have to go and look up the patterns, don't I? And yeah, I need to get this shawl finished so I can get onto something else. I want to knit another summer top. I wore my summer saunter and it's been washed and it's behaving wonderfully. So I will see you very soon. Take care and goodbye. Ta-ra.